Hello, and welcome to episode 90 of Uncovering the Corners of the World podcast. I'm your host, Karina Kasmala. Using research and my personal experiences where I actually set foot in some of these places, I'll be describing some of the unknown attractions in both the US and around the world, as well as share some of the hidden landmarks of some well-known attractions. We cut through Oklahoma diagonally this week as we cruise along 400 miles of Route 66. But before Route 66 even opened on November 11, 1926 and passed through Oklahoma, Beals Road was the precursor of that route. In 1853, Captain Amiel Weeks Whipple of the Army Topographical Corps was asked by Congress to conduct a survey of a proposed transcontinental railroad. However, Congress scratched that idea and decided to create a system of wagon roads that would help the military and civilian communications in the western part of the country, the western frontier. Lieutenant Edward Fitzgerald Beale was tasked with drafting a wagon road that followed the 35th parallel from Fort Defiance, close to the New Mexico/Arizona border, to the Colorado River. In the 20th century, motorists discussed the need of building a road that traveled from one ocean to the other, with the road starting in Washington, D.C., following the Cumberland Road to St. Louis, then following the Santa Fe Trail to Albuquerque and Santa Fe before entering Arizona through Flagstaff to the Grand Canyon. That section of the road would be called Grand Canyon Route. Now, the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1921 is marked as the origins of Route 66. The purpose of the Highway Act was to establish a highway network funded by the federal aid. Cyrus Avery, a Tulsa businessman and Oklahoma's first highway commissioner, and John Woodruff of Springfield, Missouri, are credited as advocates for constructing a road that connected Chicago to Los Angeles. They are also the ones that suggested calling the road 66. But why exactly was the road named 66? Well, Avery and Woodruff wanted to name the road 60, but that name was taken. 66 wasn't taken, and it sounded catchy. Some tourist attractions along Route 66 were either built around the same time as Route 66 was constructed, or many years later. However, there is a structure that was built 28 years before Route 66 was built and is still open to the public today. At 107 OK-66 in Arcadia, Oklahoma, 6 miles east of Interstate 35, is Arcadia Round Barn, the only wooden round barn on Route 66. Rusty old farm equipment and an outhouse line the path to the 60-foot, 18 meters in diameter, and 43 feet, 13 meters tall Arcadia Round Barn. The barn is a 2-story building. Its first floor, the first level of the barn, is devoted to a gift shop and displays of farm equipment. The second floor is a domed loft with a hard wooden floor. While looking up, you could see the interlaced wooden boards that were curved to make the round wooden roof. The walls and roof rafters were constructed with native 2x4s bur oak boards that were green and were soaked to make them curve. William Harrison, Big Bill Oder, and Myra Eva Keeley Oder bought 320 acres of farmland in 1898. Oder, along with his brother-in-law J. Hannon Keeley and several other people, helped build the barn. Some of the workers helping build the barn, Rockwood Blevins and Paul and Fred Fessler, decided that the loft of the barn, the top floor, would be a great place to host dances. These workers agreed to pay the difference between the planned rough flooring and the hardwood, which would be better for creating a dance floor. Originally, part of the barn was used as storage for hay, grain, and livestock. A few years later, in 1902, the Missouri, Kansas, and Texas Railroad were built, and it went through Oder's land south of the barn. Whereas in 1914, Oklahoma County built a dirt road between the barn and the railroad tracks, naming it State Highway 7. This highway became part of the U.S. Highway 66 highway system. Now, if you're like me and most people wondering, why is it round? The reason is that the original owner of the barn thought a round barn would not take as much damage from a tornado, as it was cycle-proof. A tornado would hit and go around it instead of going through it. However, there is no scientific proof to support that claim. The Arcadia Round Barn became a centerpiece of Arcadia and was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1977. Over time, the barn was restored in 1992 and earned a National Honor Award for Outstanding Craftsmanship and Preservation in 1993. Next, we drive to find some one-of-a-kind foods along this route. There are legendary treats all over Route 66, but there is only one place where you can bite into a handmade Route 66 cookie. Located at 100 North Main Street in Commerce, Oklahoma, is Dairy King, a small, cottage-style restaurant converted from a former gas station. Specifically, the building was a 1931 Marathon gas station, and there are still remnants of its past, with 2 Marathon gas station pumps right in front of the building. The aesthetic feel transports you to the 1950s once you open the door to the restaurant. Old photographs decorate the walls of the restaurant along with red booths, serving delicious and cold chocolate and vanilla twist soft-serve ice cream in a cone or a cup. And other treats are owners Charles Du Bois and his mother. If you visit Dairy King, you can't miss the one and only Route 66 cookies, shaped like the Highway 66 signpost. Just across the street from Dairy King is a bright green building called the Allen's Conoco Fillin Station at 101 South Main Street in Commerce, Oklahoma. Some people might refer to it as the hole in the wall, since it's built into a wall of a larger building behind it. Built by F.D. Mitchell in 1929 or 1930, this building has a mysterious history to it. There are claims that the building was never a service station to begin with, but other records say that Phillips gasoline was sold in the 1930s. Others say that the infamous criminal duo, Bonnie and Clyde, stopped there for gas. What is true is that at one point the service station housed a museum and a gift shop before it was closed in 2020. Today, Allen's Conoco Fillin Station serves as a great place to stop for a photo. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you're interested in learning more about the history of Route 66 in Oklahoma, check out the websites www.springfieldmo.org, the websites www.okc.gov, and the article Before 1926, The Origins of Route 66 on the National Park Service website. If you're curious about visiting the Arcadia Round Barn, be sure to visit the website arcadiaroundbarn.com and the National Park Service website on the Arcadia Round Barn. If you're thinking you want to learn more about Dairy King, be sure to visit the website onlyinyourstate.com/Oklahoma/burger joint worthy of visit in Oklahoma. Lastly, if you are by Dairy King and want to learn more about the history of Allen's Conoco Fillin Station, be sure to check out the websites Oklahoma Route 66 and travelok.com. The music is McCarthy by Blue Dot Sessions, www.sessions.blue. Have a great week.